Wish TV is proud to honor teachers in Central Indiana
She is an inspiration to all of us.
She's always smiling.
who go above and beyond,
He's done so many things for so many people.
She's inspirational.
making a difference,
He's always taught me to believe in myself and never get down on myself.
Everybody's biggest cheerleader.
and deserving of recognition for their outstanding efforts in
I
education.
love the people that I work with, and to know that I've made an impact on somebody's life, it is truly a great honor.
It's an honor. I love what I do, and the kids are the ones who make it work. I'm like just so taken aback because I love them so much. The fact that, they love me just as much just means a lot. Sorry, you're going to have to cut that part out.
And you are our winner.
Oh, thank you so much.
From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Golden Apple Awards Podcast, sponsored by WGU.
Hey guys, Jeremy Jenkins here, filling in for Hanna Mordoh on this month's edition of the Golden Apple Podcast. If you were watching Daybreak a few weeks back, you already know this month's winner is Ms. Mackenzie Cochrun of Brentwood Elementary School in Plainfield. She is only 2 years into her teaching career and only her first at Brentwood Elementary. There's only so much that we can show you on air, so Mackenzie and I reunited for a quick chat for this month's episode of the Golden Apple Podcast. So, Mackenzie, you are the first Golden Apple Award winner of 2025. How are you feeling after all the fanfare?
I am feeling just so loved, so supported. I mean, it's just been an outpour of love and support from people in the community, my class parents, my actual kids in class, family, friends, everyone. I mean, everyone has just been so supportive, showing all of their love. I am just feeling so overwhelmed with happiness and joy, all of the emotions, all of them.
So the fun part about the surprise was to see your reaction. Everyone said the same thing. They're like, wow, like she was literally speechless in the surprise. How did you feel that they were able to really pull this off under your nose without you finding out?
I was truly so surprised. I mean, especially knowing my mom, it is so hard for her to keep a secret. And I almost found out from Brittany too. Like there was like a little time I was in her room and I saw my dad's email on her email. And I was like, no way that says my dad's name. Like, that's really weird. And she was like, no, you're just seeing things. Like, basically, like, you're crazy. That's not happening. And I was like, oh, okay.
I can confirm this story is true because, yeah, she did. She told me the same thing when we talked. She's like, I threw her off the trail. I'm like, oh my gosh, this would have been the first Golden Apple surprise ever ruined.
I know. And then they told me afterwards, they were like, oh, it was supposed to be on Tuesday. And I had a doctor's appointment on Tuesday. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Yes, it was so funny because we were going back and forth and we were literally, it boiled down. We were in a room and it was ultimately boiling down to Julie and Brooke. They're like, should we just tell her she can't go to the appointment? But like, would that throw her off? Because we've never declined any of her PTO or doctor's appointments. So yeah, it was definitely something where we were like, wow, we may blow this one, but we pulled it off. And your reaction just it literally it just confirmed like all of our intuition to really just push this through the end. It was
yes, yeah. I was so incredibly surprised. Like I keep my lights off in my room. And when Julie walked in and turned my lights on, I was like, this is weird. Like what's happening? And then you came in, I was like, wait a second, like what? And then the real, like, it was so real when you walked in, but then seeing my parents and Rhonda walk in like that, I watched it in the video over and over. Like I was like, oh my goodness, what is happening right now? Like my heart was beating so fast, like in complete and utter shock. I had no idea.
Did you ever think when you started teaching, I know you're pretty new in your career, but did you ever think you would be getting honored so early on? The one thing I've really told people is that, this is a lot of love. 14 nominations for one person 1 year into their career at a new school at that. I mean, you are doing all the right things.
Thank you. That means so much. I never thought this early at all. I never thought at all. Like I just know I'm I'm doing what I'm supposed to do every day. I'm doing what I love and what I'm passionate about. And that's why I do it. Like I just never thought after what happened, like after everyone coming in and actually receiving it, like it just kind of sunk in for me at that moment. And I was like, wow, this is truly like an honor. I mean, so early in my career, only a second year teacher, brand new to the Plainfield district. Like I never could have foreshadowed this happening at all.
Okay, let's talk about how you actually got into teaching because I found a little bit of this out behind the scenes about how you were inspired by your own teachers. When you were a kid, your mom shared with me that, when you were hospitalized, you were really touched by the teachers that would come in and spend time with you and help you get caught up with your lessons. So,
Yes.
what was that like, that pivotal point when you were so touched that you felt, okay, this is what I want to do for other people?
So it was that exact moment when I was in the hospital. I'm a Riley kid. And so I was in there for a couple of weeks and they had to come in and obviously do my homework with me and catch me all up. And at that moment, it just kind of hit me like, wow, someone is like a teacher is coming in. They're working with me. Like I think I really like this. This is something I think that I want to do. And then as I was going through high school, I had so many teachers that inspired me, and I went to Plainfield. And so just having the inspiration I did from my teachers and that moment when I realized, like, yeah, I think I want to work with kids. Like, I knew I always wanted to work with kids, but in that moment, knowing I wanted to be an educator from being in the hospital, that just really like, I was set on doing that from the get-go. I knew I always wanted to do it, and I was going to do whatever I could to get there.
What do you think brings you so much joy about really taking that baton over the finish line? You're in your career that you said you wanted to do. You're helping kids. Obviously, the confirmation with this award, you're doing
Right.
more than just touching kids. You're touching the people around you in the process and inspiring them to be greater. I mean, what is it that just keeps you fired up each and every day?
I think knowing when I wake up in the morning that I get to come to school and I get to be with 20 of the most amazing kids. I get to be with the most amazing team. I have such an amazing administration, amazing coworkers, just knowing that I get to go somewhere that I love to go. Like, I don't wake up every morning and dread wanting to go to work. I wake up every morning and I'm excited. I may be tired, like very exhausted or worn out, but I'm so thrilled to come to work every day because I get to see these kids and they're my passion. They're my why I want to come to work every day and why I want to continue in this career. Like, I see myself in this career forever, a longevity career. And knowing that I get to come in and I get to make them smile and I get to make them laugh and I get to help them learn and succeed and love coming to school and love learning, that really just that lights the fire for me, that I want to keep doing it every day. And seeing those, a lot of teachers say the aha moments when a kid really gets something, seeing those all the time throughout the day really just, it gets you excited because you're like, oh my goodness, like they are getting this, they're learning, they're growing, and they're such tiny little humans and they're growing to be such amazing members of society and members of school. I mean, it's just amazing the feelings that I get when I'm in school with them.
What do you hope for the next 5 years for your career? Because obviously, I mean, you've done so much so far. I mean, as you look down the line of what you want to do next, do you think that maybe you'll, I don't know, maybe see yourself as a principal one day?
I actually have. So I know for sure I want to go get my master's. And I am between either school administration to be a principal or school counseling. I'm drawn to both of them. I had my current principal now, Julie. She's absolutely amazing. She is a leader I aspire to be like. And then I've had two other principals that I've worked with, Shelly Moyers and Kevin Gray. They're from Avon. I taught under them last year. And all three of them have really just like, they've driven me to want to do more. in leadership. And I think that's why I'm so drawn to administration from them, because I've seen what great leaders they are. And I aspire to want to be something like that. And then on the other side with school counseling, I've worked with amazing school counselors, and my passion for wanting to help kids and wanting to make them feel loved and welcomed, I see myself going that route as well. So I don't know. It's kind of up in the air, but I'm between those two. And I know for sure that those are some things that I want to do, that I see myself doing. So it's just kind of a matter of time just to figure out what would be the best fit for me.
We may have to bring another golden apple to you.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely. So, what do you think? I mean, when it comes to teaching, what is your secret to keeping this fire and seeing the future when so many people in this profession right now, a lot of people just go into it and they say, not for me, or they get burnt out really quickly?
Right. And I think that's really hard right now. I think just where, I think back to social media, and I think social media has a lot to do with how really any job, but especially educators, are kind of feeling. And I think it's really easy, especially as a new teacher, when you're coming in, you can see a lot of things that are being posted like that may be negative. And it may start to make you second guess, like, oh, am I really going in? Like, do I really want to go into this? Is this really going to be the right career for me? And I think for me personally, it can be so easy to get caught up in watching all of the negative things get posted or people talk negatively about it. But I've really told myself, I know that I'm where I need to be. I know that I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I remind myself of that often. And I recommend this to really any teacher, veteran, new, whoever it is. I keep a basket under my desk of all of the notes that I've ever received from kids, from subbing, from student teaching, from my current teaching last year and this year. I just keep a whole bucket of them, and I keep some at home too. And whenever I feel like, oh, I'm really exhausted, I'm really drained, like, could I do this forever? I go back and I look at all of those things that kids have written me, and it really just makes me realize, okay, I can do this. Like, I'm just having a hard day. We all have hard days, or it may be a rough week, a rough month. You may be struggling with things personally, in work, whatever it may be. And just reminding yourself in those little moments, the small victories that you're having, and that the kids truly love you. That, I mean, you're there and you're put in their lives for a reason. And that's what has kept me going. Just thinking of all of the things that I could impact on a child and all of the things that I'm helping them with, that keeps me rooted and fired up to come to work every day.
That is excellent advice. I actually have my own version of that for what I do. I have a little scrapbook of all of the things that colleagues and viewers have said, and it really does make a world of difference. So
it does.
A lot of teachers will appreciate that advice. Now, you mentioned personal. We cannot not touch on your personal life, because there is a bit of a struggle here, a struggle to find time, because you're planning a wedding. You're engaged to your high school sweetheart, who you met while you both were going to school in Plainfield. So this is, I believe, the first golden apple that we've ever had that kind of connection. So I know when I found that out, I'm like, we have to fit this into the story somehow.
Yeah, so we did meet in high school. We were actually in the same math class, and I always like to tell the story because I say I tell it a lot better than him. Like, I give the true details, like the nitty gritty. And I remember me and my best friend were in the same math class, and we sat up at the front. We were the kids that sat up at the front. We did our stuff, whatever. He sat in the back by the window. He was a football player. I mean, whole 9 yards. And I'm sitting there, and I just remember in class, like, I would turn and look at him, and I was like, oh, he's kind of cute. Like, I've never seen him before, though. Like, this is really weird. And then I actually figured out who he was. We figured out who each other were. We connected on social media. And as I like to say, the rest is history. And here we are now, and we're getting married in 8 months, which is crazy.
Oh my gosh, yes. And Miss Jamie, I still haven't forgotten about the invitation. I mentioned that in the story too. I'm like, they sent the invite. They're like, you're coming to the wedding. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drop a few pounds for the pictures, but I'll be there with bells and whistles for sure.
Yes.
Tell me about how this whole full circle moment felt, because my goodness, you don't always get to come back home. That's, I think, the goal for everyone in every career field. When you find a place that feels like home, you want to either stay there or try to get back to it.
Yes. Yes. So I always, just going through Plainfield. I mean, Plainfield just feels like home. The schools, the teachers, the administrators, it makes you feel like you're at home, no matter where you're at, what school you're at, what grade you're in. You just feel like you belong. And that's what I felt when I was going through school. And so I always knew in the back of my mind, I was like, I think, I kind of want to go back and like be in the district that inspired me to want to be a teacher in the first place. And I took the leap of faith and I went to a different district last year. I had great opportunities there that I was able to jump on, and it was fantastic. But then when I had this opportunity, I was like, I can't pass it up. Kindergarten is my dream grade. I've wanted to be in it since I wanted to be a teacher. And so when I heard that this position was open and it was in my hometown, Brentwood is actually a school I did not go to. So I was very excited to be able to be in a whole new environment, new people, a school I didn't go to. So it was exciting for me. But what was even more full circle is like, I've had teachers that work here now that were my teachers.
Yeah.
So that was just like a complete full circle for me. Like, wow, like I am in a school that is so exciting. It's so inviting. I have teachers here who were my own teachers, and now I get to be the teacher. It was really just like so heartwarming, just to be able to come back. And I know people, like being in the school district, people, and everyone has just been so excited for me to be able to come back. I remember being at the like whole district breakfast right before school started, and it was at the high school. And I remember my Spanish teachers from high school hearing my name being called as a new teacher in the district. And I turned and looked, and they were all sitting there, like waving at me. They were smiling. And
heart melting.
Yeah, that moment for me, I was just like, oh my goodness, like my teachers get to see me living my dream. And it's just absolutely amazing, the feeling that I have.
I love that you really had a unique experience here where you got to step outside of yourself, but also have that familiarity of having people that like this isn't a school that you necessarily went to, but it's the district that you're in. So you're familiar with the policies, how things go, but the school itself is a new experience, a new classroom that you've never seen that you get to make your own.
Yes. Yeah. That was just such a great feeling for me. When I got to see my classroom for the first time, it was so overwhelming. I was so excited. And like you said, like not seeing the classroom before, like not being here, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what things are done. And so it was just such an exciting time of my life when, from the moment I got the call that I got the job, to setting up the classroom, to my 20 littles walking into my room for the first time. It was just so exciting, so much fun.
Now, a lot of fun was walking into your classroom. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I even knocked over one or two things. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, my goodness, there were so many things everywhere that the kids could take a look at and so many resources for them. We were trying to figure out a place to put the big check while we were talking. So that was fun to figure out. But you're going to get to make your classroom even more special because you have that amazing shopping spree thanks to our friends over at WGU. Any idea what you're going to use that for just yet?
So I know I want to get some things for me because I love shopping, but really just after all of this, happening and all of the love and support I've gotten, I really want to take some of that money and I want to get things for the school itself. I want to ask the teachers, like, what are some resources you may need, or just the school, like, what could the school use in general? And so I know for a fact, and I don't know exactly what they're going to be, but I know for a fact I want to use some of that money to give back to my school, my admin, my team, everyone who has just shown so much love to me, so much support. I mean, it's the least I could do. They're all amazing people, and I just want to be able to show them, like, your love and your support means so much to me. And if I could give them anything of what I earn, I would love to.
That is amazing that you are going to take that shopping spree that was given to you and you're going to share it with your team. No wonder you got 14 nominations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I owe it to them, honestly. Like, I would do it no matter what, but just like I keep reiterating, because it's so, so true. They have shown me tremendous amounts of love and support, more than I ever could have thought that I would have received or gotten. And so I want to do what I can do to show them that I love them, I care for them, and I support them in their classrooms too. So if I can be any sort of help with anything, I will do it. Absolutely.
Well, my friend, you are truly an inspiration, not just for teachers, but just for how people can be in the workplace in general. And this is only the beginning for you. You are going to soar so high in this profession. I'm sure we'll be talking about you again very soon on the network. Far past the Golden Apple, Teacher of the Year. I'm just going to put it out there. I see it already.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
No problem, Mackenzie. Thank you. And it has been a pleasure chatting with you. Congratulations again to Mackenzie. We will continue honoring teachers just like her that go above and beyond to make a difference in our children's lives. If you know a deserving teacher, just head over to our website, wishtv.com/goldenapple, and send in a nomination telling us why they deserve the award. Then tune in to Wish TV and the Golden Apple podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network to find out if they are our next winner. Until then, I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
The Wish TV Golden Apple Awards are sponsored by WGU. Nominate a teacher and learn more at wishtv.com now. Be sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast and discover even more great podcasts now on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.